Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Najwa Hussaini with Azadi News. Azadi TV team wishes all Rohingya and Muslims around the globe a very blessed Ramadan. May Allah give us strength and strong will to fight this ongoing novel coronavirus epidemic and survive with unity and faith. UNHCR opposes Rohingya transfers to Bashang Char. German minister wants more EU aid for poorer nations. UN aid arrives for Paletwa Township. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees UNHCR has voiced its opposition to the transfer of a group of Rohingyas rescued on Saturday by Bangladesh Coast Guard to Bhashan Char Island in Noakhali. The UN Refugee Agency is of the opinion that preparations are in place for the safe quarantine of the Rohingyas in Cox's Bazar and questioned the safety and sustainability of life on the island developed by the government for the relocation of a portion of the persecuted people to decongest the camps in the coastal district. Our priority is saving lives through disembarkation and meeting immediate humanitarian needs. We are continuing to urge safe and predictable landing procedures not only in Bangladesh but across the region and globally, Mustafa Muhammad Sazad Hussain, Assistant Communication Officer of UNHCR Bangladesh. A group of up to 29 refugees have reportedly been transferred to Bashang Char Island in the Bay of Bengal by the Bangladesh authorities. We have received information indicating that this vulnerable group includes women and children. They are believed to be part of a larger group of up to 350 refugees. The others are still stranded at sea, he said. UNHCR has all preparations in place to ensure the safe quarantine of any refugees arriving by boat to Cox's Bazar as a precautionary measure related to the COVID-19 pandemic. With the government's agreement, we have established facilities for this purpose in the refugee settlements, said the official. An initial group of some 400 Rohingya refugees who were disembarked from a boat in distress over a fortnight ago have all completed the required quarantine period and have returned to their families within the camps, Hussain said. About Bashang Char, Hussain said, the UN's long-standing position is that comprehensive technical and protection assessments to evaluate the safety and sustainability of life on Bashang Char are essential before any relocation to the island takes place. The UN has long been prepared to proceed with on-site assessment work but has no presence on the island. Germany said Tuesday the European Union should do much more than it has done so far in providing coronavirus relief aid for countries outside its borders. German Economic Cooperation and Development Minister Gerhard Müller said the EU needed to add an African component to the rescue umbrella that is over Europe. Müller was speaking at the presentation of BMZ 2030, a structural reform of Germany's development policy, where he announced the government has already reorganized 1 billion euros to help other countries fight the coronavirus pandemic. According to the Development Ministry, the BMZ 2030 strategy calls on Germany's international partners to provide measurable evidence for progress made in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Nations receiving aid must demonstrate, for example, that human human rights of citizens are observed and efforts are being made to fight corruption. Miller specifically cited Burma and its treatment of the Rohingya people. In August 2017, Burmese military launched what it called a clearance campaign in northern Arkan state. The campaign forced nearly 1 million Rohingya to flee to neighboring Bangladesh and led to accusations that security forces committed mass rapes, massacres, and burned thousands of homes. Food rations have arrived for residents in strife-torn Paletwa in Kachin state here, where the conflict between the Burmese government forces and the Arkan Army AA continues. The emergency supplies were provided by the United Nations World Food Programme WFP for the township, where intense fighting had erupted since January. The WFP said the emergency aid arrived in Paletwa recently to assist residents who faced food shortage since the fighting started. Some 3,700 conflict-affected people have begun receiving the food aid over the last 2 days, it said. Families were forced to skip meals and instead foraged wild plants for food. Some resorted to selling or eating their livestock, a coping strategy that could hurt longer-term agricultural productivity and food security. The WFP said the delivery of the aid saw an attack on its 5-truck convoy and that a worker was wounded. This is today's news. To get more updates about Rohingya, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. Visit our website azadinews.org and follow our social media accounts. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.